have something very interesting to show you right now. When September ends in profits, Bitcoin usually does well over the next few months. And this is what we're seeing exactly on this chart here. This September, Bitcoin is ending with almost 4% positive returns. We still have 1 week to go, but if Bitcoin closes with positive returns, then if you see on this chart, we're likely to carry this positive momentum. Historically, this is the time when Bitcoin often makes the biggest moves in Q4. And if we see on this chart, if you look the positive returns for September, we had in 2024 7%, then we continued the bullish momentum. Same repeated in 2023. If we look further down, 2016, 2015, when Bitcoin closed positive in September, the bullish momentum continued. That's just a historical pattern that we can see on this chart here. That's just an interesting historical pattern, and we're likely to see that repeated, in my opinion, because this aligns with what we've previously been seeing in Q4, and this is aligned with the next thing that I'm going to tell you now. This chart that you see here shows you in blue line is the US 13-week Treasury bill yield, which is the short-term interest rate set by markets. In gold line is your gold price in USD. You also have those gray shaded areas, which is the recession periods, and the dashed vertical lines is when the 13-week yields start going down. Why I'm telling you this right now, because it's very important to outline where we're going ahead. The key idea here is that when interest rates, which is your blue line, fall, gold and Bitcoin, although Bitcoin is not shown on this chart, they tend to rise in terms of price. And falling yields usually mean the government or the Federal Reserve is cutting rates because the economy is slowing or entering recession. And I know in my Discord, people were asking if we're going to see another interest rate cut in October. My opinion is we're going to see another interest rate cut by the end of this year. I don't know if it's going to be exactly in October or December, but we're going to see an interest rate cut at least one more time this year. So why is this happening? Because this lower yields make safe investments like treasuries less attractive. People move money into assets like gold and Bitcoin, seen as hedge against inflation, seen as one of the quickest ways to obtain returns on your money. So what this chart tells you further, it tells you that in past recessions in 2001, 2008, 2020, when yields dropped, gold prices surged afterwards. And Bitcoin, as I said, although not shown here, has historically also benefited from these periods because money flows to alternative assets. And this chart suggests exactly when the 13-year yields start falling, it is often a signal that gold and Bitcoin should start going up, which is perfectly aligned with the chart that I showed you earlier in this video, and it further aligns with our expectations for historical patterns to repeat or history to rhyme in crypto, which is one of the most bullish periods that are coming up in Q4. So think of that blue line, which is your yields, as a thermometer of how good bonds are compared to assets like gold and Bitcoin. High yields means people prefer bonds. Gold and Bitcoin move much slower. Falling yields is telling you that people ditch bonds and then they run to gold and Bitcoin, where which causes prices to rise. And if we look back in the history, obviously Bitcoin didn't exist prior to 2009, but let's see how it did afterwards in a similar pattern. In 2008-2009 recession, Bitcoin was just launched, so no real price data can be analyzed yet, but gold followed the exactly same pattern. When yields fell, gold took off. In 2013-2016, low yields, no major recession, so yields were near zero after 2008. Bitcoin had its first bull run in 2013 and then a crash, but overall started being seen as digital gold. In 2020, when we had the COVID crash, yields dropped massively. Fed rates were near zero. So gold spiked. Bitcoin went from 4K in March of 2020 to 69K by late 2021. This was Bitcoin's biggest bull run, heavily led by easy money, which is caused by the low yields. And now, in this current cycle, which is if we look at the blue line here, the yields, they peaked and they're starting to go down again. Historically, what we just explained, this shift is signaling huge rallies for gold and Bitcoin. And we can see that Gold is actually hitting new all-time highs every other day. And that's why many analysts right now expect the next Bitcoin and gold surge as the Federal Reserve move towards rate cuts. And that's why we're likely to see another rate cut coming up by the end of this year. The simple takeaway here is that every time the US cuts short-term rates, yields fall, and investors leave bonds and they move to assets like gold and Bitcoin. And the same applies to Bitcoin and gold, but for Bitcoin specifically, the low falling yields means bull runs, and the high rising yields is a tough environment to be in. So right now, these yields are dropping, and if they keep dropping, that's important to sustain this dropping momentum. It could signal Bitcoin's next big bull run phase is underway, I would say. And when Bitcoin increases in price, it would push the altcoins to follow Bitcoin's move. All I'm going to say now, take advantage to buy the discounts. There are a lot of projects on good discounts. Make a move and buy those so you can make substantial gains in Q4 of 2025 and in early Q1 of 2026. Just don't sleep on it, don't wait. And my advice is don't go all in. Go in increments. You can buy in now, wait if the price goes down further, buy again. Just don't jump with all your money in one go. And don't spread yourself too thin. Make sure that you stick to the projects that you have most conviction in, or if you're interested to see what I'm buying, what I'm selling, I'm opening some new positions as well, because you know the market is very dynamic. Everything changes pretty quickly. Narratives change, some pump, other dump. Make sure you catch the right moves, and if you want to see what we're buying, what we're selling, feel free to join Discord. All these signals are available there. If not, maybe stick to whatever you have conviction in. I would say personally, if you're not experienced, stick to the well-known, well-established projects that you've got on CoinMarketCap. If you sort the projects by market cap, you would see those in the first 50 ranked by market cap. XRP, Solana, Dogecoin, Chainlink, Cardano, Tron, Hyperliquid, Avalanche, Sui, Sei. All those are good projects. And as I said, you can also see my portfolio on Discord. That's for me today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.